We have the meats. Today we meet Shayne from Gills Meat Market to explain why buying from the local meat market is way better than going to your average box store. Come on in and let's get hungry.
Welcome to the Dayton Approved Podcast with Frank O'Neill. This is where the local Dayton businesses get a spotlight.
All right, welcome to Dayton Approved, exploring Dayton's small businesses and nonprofits with Dayton Discount Furniture. Today's guest we have is Shayne Gill with Gills Meat Market. How are you doing today, Shayne?
I'm well, Frank. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Shayne and I, we've known each other for a little while now, so I'm pretty excited. He is actually new into the business, but he does have a great, inspiring story. So I'm excited to hear it, and I'm very excited for him to share it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, jump right into it. Let's talk about, basically what got you going. I guess not really that. What is the mission statement? Really, is how I like to start things off. So.
I don't have a nice, pretty typed out mission statement, but what I do want to do and what we do is provide meat, deli, and grocery quality, fresh products at a family level to the community. We're geared towards everyday needs, getting your dinner for the night, breakfast, whatever, but we're certainly capable of bigger orders, larger bulk orders and party trays, things of that nature if you give us some advance. But our big focus is just providing the freshest, best quality product to those that were willing to walk through my door and make sure they want to come back.
Yeah, so I know quality is really important to you. So tell everyone about how you make sure you have good quality meat. Some things that you're doing a little bit different than maybe other places.
The government certainly has lots of things to help us with that, and I'm grateful for that. And tracking, a biggest focus on me is, one, I'm really watching what people are buying, and if it ain't buying, I'm not getting it because I don't want it to sit, and I keep my stock as low as possible. I sell out of things, I run out, and people get upset with me sometimes when I don't have something. I'd rather run out and have fresh the next time you come in than have piles and piles because I sell fresh meat. Like I get deliveries 2-3 times a week, and I try to, every delivery, I try to play, what do I need to make to the next one and not a piece of meat more? Because I always want to put the freshest product.
Nobody wants expired meat.
No,
it doesn't taste good.
It does not go over well. It's not something I deal with much. But,
it might make you sick.
Yeah, but I think that effort my employees and I do to make sure the best product's in front of everybody really helps us.
Well, that's good because not many places necessarily are doing that. They're willing to just over order and then say, okay, here we go. Here's a discount. Get your meat. And who knows?
Anytime someone comes, well, this is on sale here, I just kind of look at them and then say, I wonder why. People, do you have anything on sale? I said, no, my prices are good, but it's fresh. I don't.
We only deal with fresh.
Yes.
Well, another thing that you do is kind of more of a old school approach. Back in the day, the meat market, it was kind of like a place to meet up.
Absolutely.
Talk about how you're still doing that with your store and how things are happening there.
It's 2024. It's not 1960. People aren't as publicly social as they used to be. So a big thing is, and I'm always on my employees, we smile. Our product will bring a customer back. I sell a good product. My prices are good. The experience that person has is what's going to be what brings them back. So we smile. Hey, how are you doing? They'll say, I haven't seen you since last time. Maybe last time they came in, they mentioned they were doing something or something. So we always try to be personable with our employees. I'm not going to remember every name, but I do remember faces. And we just try to make, hey, how are you doing? What's up? And gossip with them a little bit because, like I said, the product's going to sell. I sell good food. But if they enjoyed the time they spent in that store and they remember my face and they remember, hey, I remember he smiled at me and said goodbye and made their day a little better and they come back. So that talking and the amount of people.
So it's really about the customer experience. Yes. You're selling an experience.
Absolutely.
Instead of, just say, hey, let's get a piece of meat at the local grocery store or whatever, even a boxed grocery store where they're just going to be like, here you go.
Yep. You come into my store, there's going to be a human being that looks you in the eyes, talks to you, asks you how your day was, smile, laugh, and remembers you when you come back. And the amount of people that come to my store and is like, oh, hey, I have family reunions that happen in my store all the time. And it's just fun to watch. You just kind of sit back. I'll get you when you're done chatting, and I'm going to listen to your conversation about how Uncle Ted's doing or whatever. But it's pretty cool to see people do that.
It's kind of like the neighborhood therapist in a way.
The little meetup spot. Get to gossip.
Hey, that human interaction is huge, especially in today's world. And obviously, we'll talk more about that later on. But I really am excited to talk about your story. So tell us about you, how what were you doing before business? How did you get in the business? Because you just recently technically got into the business. Now, I know it's a family business now, or generational business is what we can call it. But really, for you, you're just now a new business owner. So let's talk about what you were doing before and how it all happened.
Well, I'll walk you back just a hair to where it started being in my family. My dad worked at Winn-Dixie cutting meat in the 1980s down in Florida. In the 90s, he and his wife at the time wanted to get into business for themselves. They were looking at a few businesses in the Springfield area, Clark County area that were for sale. And my dad had experience in that, and people always got to eat. So my dad was like, I already know how to do this. People always got to eat. My dad bought the meat market. I grew up in it since I was 12 years old. Wasn't what I wanted to do necessarily. I did join the Army in 2004. I did that for 7 years. I came back, I drove a semi. I worked here and there, and I was out at Navistar in Springfield for a few years. I was supervisor out there in the paint department doing my thing there. Unfortunately, last January of 23, my father was tragically taken from us, and all of the store became mine. Overnight. Like I couldn't even just concentrate on the fact that I lost my dad. I have a business now, and I have employees, and I have families that are coming to get food.
You just
tomorrow.
kind of like, here we go. We got all these responsibilities.
It's here's 25 years of me thinking what I would do if I had the store. And now I have the store, and
it's a reality.
Yeah, the tragedy of my father aside, it is cool to do things my way.
Wow. Yeah. Of course.
Sometimes I look up at his picture and wink at him like, I know you hated that, Dad, but the customers love it.
No, that's funny. So that's how it turned into a generational business, right?
Yeah. My kid's working there now, so you come in on a weekend, you might see my 9-year-old running a register any day, or my 14-year-old standing there. He might wait on you or help me out. So I'm definitely training the next generation too.
So you did mention something about the USDA inspector last time we were in the pre-show we were talking, but I don't even know how we got there.
I'm trying to think of what question might lead me back to that. I'm sure we'll talk about them.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that. Yeah. Well, no, that's a pretty fascinating story and how you got into it. I'm sure you got into it a little bit sooner than you wanted to, but I'm sure that it is exciting and gives you a lot of things to look at and learn and grow. I know self-growth is something that you're also working on as well.
I do love my boss. We get along really well.
There you go.
We're just see right eye to eye, now, me and I.
Oh, yeah. See, I thought maybe you were talking about your wife. Because
Don't tell her she's the boss. She knows it, but I don't acknowledge.
Well, tell me a little bit more about your family. Since you just recently got in the business, you got a family, you got kids.
My wife Cassie, she helps me kind of behind the scenes. She runs our social media. She does administrative things like that, and she is much more social than I am. Very pretty, beautiful woman. People like her, and she knows lots of people in the food service, so that has helped me. And through her connections, it has sent us customers and employees. Like there's been a spot where I was desperate for help, and she just knew the right people, even in that moment, to come in and help us. So that's amazing. And she's smart. Yeah. My wife's an intelligent woman, and she has good ideas. And she, like I said, with the marketing, she's killing it on our Facebook page. I do have 2 sons. They play travel baseball. It consumes every minute of my life that is not at that meat market, and it's worth it. I love it. My son won a tournament yesterday, but they come in and work. They're smart boys. They come in and work. They're learning the business. They don't want to work because they're kids, but it is nice to have them in there, and it makes me like seeing my oldest son do things. Sometimes I think, hey, that used to be my dad watching me. Now it's me watching my dad, and sometimes it's kind of nostalgic, and I tear up a little bit, and I don't let him know it, but it's like, I'm really proud to see you over there, like doing what I did, kind of thing. It's pretty neat. Of course,
that is cool. Well, that's cool. Yeah, baseball, it's going on right now.
Oh my goodness,
that's a busy thing to do. So I know that I've seen you a couple times out. You got it on the phone. If you're not there, you're there.
I'll play it on the TV at my store. People come in and stand there and just watch. Like, that's your kid? I'm like, yeah, he's on TV. It's pretty cool.
So, some of the things, let's talk about some of the things that you're doing in the community with your business and whatnot. I know you say, we feed the entire community.
Yeah, we feed the entire community. My dad was always about helping people out. Several churches in the area, when they would do Sunday dinners, be it just for their people or to provide food for the community, they come to us. And if we can't donate, we give it to them as absolutely cheap as possible to help them do what they're trying to do. Lots of stuff with the churches. I do have several schools that buy things from me, so I'm feeding your kid while they're at school. They're eating Gills Meats. and youth organizations in the area, be it 4-H. I mean, Clark County, Ohio is the home of 4-H. Lots of athletics. I am pretty close to the fairgrounds. Lots of people who show cows and things, children who want to do things. So I try to support the youth. I'm big about helping out the youth. And if you got time, you put a kid in front of me that asks me for something and they're willing to put themselves out, I will try to help out in the ways I can with that. And then sometimes disasters happen. Those tornadoes hit Springfield, Ohio this year, and it tore up a farm that I don't necessarily work with, but I know of them and I know them, and people I know do work with them. The whole barn's gone. So, my friends are out there doing that. And when things like that or someone's house is burned down, I can't always give them food or money, but I can give gift certificates. I can give time. A lot of people, when those tornadoes hit, businesses were closed because they were out helping people do their stuff. And it wasn't even that their business was tore up. We just, as a community, went to help people who got trashed in that tornado, or again, a fire or whatever tragedy may hit. Lots of people come to us, and food brings comfort, and I know that. So if I can, even if the least I can do for you is throw a meal your way to help your family get through a night, we do things like that a lot. Not all the time, but we try to be grateful to the people that come into our store.
No, that's really you never know when something's going to happen, like you said, a tragedy or whatnot. So I know that was a big deal. Indian Lake, Springfield.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of wild how these tornadoes are popping up now. And, we donated mattresses too in my business. And for situations like that. So I get it.
Yeah.
One of the things I know that you just did was recently basically sourced the meat or some of the meat from here, or farm local, and
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you get most of all your meat from Ohio in some form or fashion, close to.
No, I'm happy to clear that up.
Okay.
My major provider is out of Ohio, but I sell United States grown beef.
Yes.
Import. So it is, I do local. So what you're saying, it's Honey Creek beef out of New Carlisle, a farm owned by a man named Adam France. I sell his grass-fed, non-steroided and anything, check them out. I'm not going to sit here and go through the spiel, but it's an amazing product. And I am his number one seller of it to get that out. And that was a big goal for us. Get some good local fresh. People ask about it all the time for years and years. It was a goal of mine to get that this year, and we have that there now, and I'm very proud to carry it.
And it's pretty recent that you actually were able to get this meat in, right?
Yeah. Beginning of the year, my goal was to have grass-fed beef and buffalo by March. I've not made the buffalo connection thus far, but working with Adam, and he's been great to help us get going in that. I absolutely have been selling Honey Creek beef since March, and it's great. Like, people love the product. I love the farm. I've been to the farm. I met the cows. I waved at them. They kind of gave me a dirty look. I think they knew who I was. I don't know, but it's just awesome working with that. Now, I'm really happy about that.
That reminded me. So this is kind of where we talked about the USDA inspector. What that does is it kind of drives up the price. Is what we were talking about.
Yes.
And that's what I was
with
alluding to earlier.
A lot of people, like, for me to sell beef or anything, it has to be USDA approved. So there's people that have chickens and want me to sell their eggs. I can't just sell your eggs. An inspector has to see them. There's people that raise cows and pigs, and they're like, well, I can't unless you kill it in front of somebody. If it's your cow and you handle it yourself, that's okay. But I cannot do that. So that's something a lot of people don't understand. They want that. Yeah, grass-fed's expensive, but there's a lot to it. It's an amazing product. You're getting what you're paying for. But there's a lot to it, that USDA, and I'm not knocking it. I appreciate that the government makes sure we're putting good stuff out for people.
But there's a cost associated with that, because that's not a cheap individual to show up and
that is a college-educated person who wants a good income for what they do, and if they mess up, people could get sick. So it's worth it. I don't personally deal with that because I'm in the city. I can't kill, but it affects my business 100%.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you may not think about at the time of purchase when you're a consumer trying to get, your hamburgers.
Yeah.
Oh, I want this because it's good. Well, this is why it costs maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to kind of hear that, and you can really see that full circle.
Yep.
Obviously a meat market, but what sets your business apart? What makes your meat market different than, I guess you could say, others, or just other places to get meat?
The freshness. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about other small meat markets because they're doing what I'm doing, and I
right.
Good for them. I wish them all the best. But when you walk into a big chain place, and I won't say names, I'm telling you that wasn't cut today. That wasn't cut with some. I cut my meat every morning, and I keep my stock so low. Excuse me, not every single morning, but nothing is in my store for more than a couple days, or it's frozen. And my freezers are almost empty. Like, I do everything I can to put the freshest product in front of people as I can for as affordable price as I can to keep people fed and happy.
Now, I know we kind of talked about meat markets kind of being almost like a dying breed.
Yes.
So when you started in Springfield, there was several, right?
Yeah, when my dad bought the meat market in 1998, I believe at that time I was only 12, there were 3 other meat markets in Springfield. Now we are the only one. There are a few in the area. There's like one per town, if you will. It seems like, you got one out in Medway, you got one in Enon. There's a little more down towards Dayton as you get more population. But that's where I'm at. Like I said, there were 4 total, 3 other ones, and now it's just me. And everybody's dealing with that, because you can just go to the Biggs place, order it all on your phone, and they'll carry it out to you and put it in your car. I can't do that. I can't beat that convenience. But you can know my name.
Right.
You can meet me and talk to me in person and maybe see my child that the money you're spending affects. And you can know that I'm putting the best food I can possibly put in your bag that you're taking home. And I care.
Yeah,
I want to see you tomorrow.
And you're willing to accept that accountability and responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got some random person in a box store. They don't care.
Nope.
They're there for a paycheck.
Yep.
They're not happy. They may not even know who you are.
Not one bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's total different experience.
Yep. My favorite customers are the ones that come in every day. And it's nothing personal against anyone else, but I love that person that walks in every day, and I know what they're having for dinner because they get it fresh every day. And that's what I'm there for. And I'm not there to make $3,000 sales every time you sell it. If you come in and just buy what you got for dinner, I'll see you tomorrow. And that makes me happy.
In all honesty, too, I mean, the pricing's pretty close to the same.
Oh, yeah.
Because the meat market in this box store is kind of like its own little division, except they're just not getting that locally sourced meat.
No.
That's really the difference.
I don't want to say things that I can't prove, but I look at a lot of stuff and I say that's not what that is.
Right.
I can't believe that's what you're saying it is. I can't believe that's what you're charging for that, because that's unreal. And then on the same note, when they have these massive sales, people will come and say, well, they have this for this price.
I can get that Wagyu beef.
I look at them, I'm like, well, wonder why it's that price. Because I can't even get it that cheap, and they're selling it to you. So, but I'm not there. I don't know, but I can assume some things. And, like you say, it's a personal thing. It really sets the small meat market apart from the big store. Because like I said, you're going to look me in my eyes. We're going to smile. We're going to talk. You're going to know who sold you that product. And hopefully see me the next day and say, hey, man, that was great.
And that's the goal. That's what we want, a good experience with good quality meat. That's what you're all about at Gills Meat Market. Recent successes, some milestones. Why don't you tell us about some wins you've had here lately?
We touched about it a minute ago, the Honey Creek beef. That was a big one for me. Like, my dad's had the store since I was 12 for years and years and years. I always wanted to try and get into something like that. People would ask me about it when I didn't work. Hey, can you guys get this? Can you do that? So getting that Honey Creek beef in there, that is a large in demand product, hard to find. Supply and demand is not equal. So me having that for people, an outlet to come get it is great. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I know that you were saying that basically it's doing really well, actually.
Yeah. He told me in our last that I'm selling more of his product than anyone else that sells it for them. I also believe that I am a meat market, so that helps.
Yeah, and that's a good and bad thing, because one of the things that that affects is the supply chain. Now, I know that we were going to talk about that a little bit later, but I think it's a good time to bring it up. It takes 13 to 18 months, is what we discussed, on going from having a calf to being able to slaughter it.
Yep.
So, you're talking about a year and a half decision you got to make.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, I need this meat. Let's go. You're selling it. Good luck. Because you got a year and a half until he can, get more cattle for you.
And people don't have a clue about. They just think, and no offense to anyone, but that guy's got to raise that cow, keep it healthy. And then when we made this business agreement, start doing stuff, and he originally told me the amount of cattle he kills and the frequency, and I'm kind of like, I hope you can keep up with me. You want me to sell your product. And at first, I don't know what to do, but it's taken off. And then he came in and, like I said, you're selling more of this than anybody. And I said, I told you, like, once people know I have it, it's going to flow. And that's a great thing, because they come in for the Honey Creek, but I have all the other product too that they come in. So having his product is bringing me good business as well.
Yeah, it brings in people and then also gives the ability to sell the other stuff that you got.
I just hope he can keep up, because that 18 months, like you said, 18 months from now, to double the amount of cattle you're slaughtering or harvesting.
Yes, yes.
That's a long time. So
yeah, so hopefully, exactly, he makes the right decisions and starts.
And I hope I don't fail him. I hope he don't make decisions. That's something I got.
A lot of pressure.
Because he's just a farmer with his wife and his kids and one employee. And if I take him down a path and I can't live up to my end, I don't want to hurt his family either.
No,
so
nobody wants to do bad for anyone.
I'm really monitoring that to not mislead him.
Now, I know you were talking about buffalo. You're still looking for a buffalo source, but buffalo's not cheap. A lot of people forget that.
Buffalo isn't. Well, neither is grass-fed. Buffalo is not cheap. A lot of people will think they want it, and I guess I'll say it. The internet is not your friend. People come in and ask me for stuff, and I'm like, where'd you see it? Yeah. What were you watching on the internet? But back to buffalo. I absolutely want to get buffalo. Supply and demand. I don't get asked for it a lot. A lot of the people, the farms, they don't produce a whole lot. And to keep up with what I may or may not sell, there's not a lot of interest in the farmers. I don't think that they are confident in either their ability to produce for me, which is what I'm getting. Most of them are saying, I don't think I can give you what you need, or my ability to move their product for them. But we can only figure that out by doing it.
Now, in college, there was this product that we fell in love with. It was called Beefalo. And basically, it's a cross between a cow and a buffalo.
Okay.
And essentially, you get the idea of, or you get the benefits of both worlds, which is the lean meat from the buffalo,
Absolutely.
and you get that nice, rich flavor of the beef. Not many people knew about it. We actually were able to acquire it. It took us a while to figure it out. There's like one place in Ohio that does it. And that guy makes them, and that's it. And they're kind of like donkeys. They, you can't. Once you make a beefalo, you can't have beefalo making beefalo. They're just, they're kind of.
It stops at one.
It stops, yeah. So, everyone's like, "What the heck is this beefalo?" And I'm like, "Well, it's this. What it is. I just explained it." So I always fantasize about this marketing program just to get people out there to know what beefalo is. And basically, I thought, you got a cow on one end, you got a buffalo on the other, and you got two guys that are midgets wearing suits, riding these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
Then they run towards each other, right? And they crash into each other, and poof, out of the dust comes a standard size, like a regular size guy, normal guy, in a outfit, right? And he's singing, and he goes, beefalo, 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 beefalo. And I was like, you'll never forget the hell
kids
beefalo
will be
is
singing
now.
that to their parents all over town.
Exactly.
What the hell are you saying?
Beefalo. I need beefalo.
I want beefalo, Mom.
But I actually had it, and it's phenomenal. It tastes good.
I bet. I mean, I love buffalo and I love beef.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's like putting bacon on beef.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you really think about it, you get the benefit of both from a health standard. That's kind of cool. That's kind of really is amazing.
Yep. I make something that isn't for the health standard, but I do sell bacon burgers where I grind bacon right in with my ground beef and run them into patties. So it's kind of a smash, but it's one of my top sellers, by the way. The bacon burgers are
really so basically good. You grind in the bacon with the beef.
Yeah, I just grind all right together, and I make patties, and I give a little disclaimer: if you cook it over a flame, you better have foil because there's bacon grease.
It's going to
get your eyebrows, but they are phenomenal.
So they might cook a little faster.
Yeah, I mean, they're a third of a pound patties, about this big, if you will. They're delicious. I sell them tons and tons of them.
Now, here's a good question. I just didn't even realize you did that. I know a lot of people will do, fully cooked, well done, or medium. Would you recommend, like with the bacon? You probably want to do more of a well done cook, right?
Actually, so it's weird with the bacon burgers. The color stays pink.
Really?
Yeah, we always. So I don't say it so much because I just don't. But Utopia, don't just keep cooking it to try and get that pink out because for whatever reason, when I grind the two together, it will just stay kind of pink. So if you just keep cooking, you're going to end up with a hockey puck.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had people, I cooked it, I couldn't get the pink out. It was so hard. I'm like, for whatever reason
it stays pink.
The science beyond me that it just kind of stays kind of pink. But
that's interesting.
So I just try to tell people, you cook it till you know it's done. I mean,
if
it's bleeding,
like a normal
it's not
burger.
done.
Yeah.
Now steaks, I tell people, well, how do you cook it? I said, I want it to turn and look at me when I take a bite out of it. So don't overcook your meat, folks.
Right. And, how important is it to make sure that you've got that good, healthy meat? I mean, tell us what is a healthy meat. I know there's a lot of stuff they're putting in.
Well, your Honey
steroids
Creek,
and all that type of stuff.
Honey
Not
Creek,
you,
if
but
that's where you're heading, your Honey Creek was where when people come to me for that, there you go. You're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's not very cheap, but it is high quality. I mean, he puts the basic veterinarian, what's the word I'm trying to say? The shots he should get, the stuff they should do as a calf to get through. But outside of that, man, that is a free range. So that is definitely good quality. I've eaten it. It is delicious.
Now, does it taste that much different?
I think anybody can make something taste good. The texture and the quality of it is, yes, it tastes good. But when I first tried, he gave me a bunch of try before I got it. And this is, I buy my other meat too. Yeah. It literally melted in my mouth.
Really?
It's not something we eat every day at my house. I got to pay for it like everybody else. I eat all my meat out of my store, but I kind of tell people, it ain't everyday food, but if you want to treat yourself to that Honey Creek, and there's people that do eat that.
You can literally taste the difference.
Yeah, you can see, feel, taste the difference in the grass-fed. Like, if it was affordable, that's all people should eat. It's funny, the healthy stuff, be it vegetables, is the most expensive. That's what we should be eating.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop eating the other product I sell.
Yeah.
I don't have a thing in that store I would not feed myself or my children. But I do carry that high-end product for people as an option. And I'm glad I have that for them. And some people need it.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
I have a ulcerative colitis, a gastro disease. I have to watch so everybody's different in what they got to watch on that stuff. So I try to as long as I put choice, select at the least. I have choice product out front, and it is as fresh as I possibly get. It deliveries twice a week, just to do what I can on my end to monitor the cleanliness of my store, the temperatures of where the meat's kept and everything, to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to give the best, healthiest product to that person, so they don't have to worry about that. They just need to come in, get a fat, juicy steak, go home, and enjoy that.
Exactly.
They don't have to think about that.
Yeah, speaking of that, I have had a filet, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Shayne said, "Here's a birthday filet for you." I said, "All right." And I thought he was just trying to, here's an extra filet, just get out of here. No, he gave me, it was a treat. It was good.
They're good.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that tremendously. So I highly, highly recommend it.
We really like our couch. So
yeah.
It's a great couch.
Yes, we'll just keep complimenting each other.
Yes. I love your hair, bud.
Yeah. Now, some other things, as far as successes you've had, you just got this business, 26 years in the action. So you told me you had done a lot of updates. Tell us about that.
Yeah. To rag on my dad a little bit, he didn't keep up with the upkeep. Now, cleanliness has always been stressed, but he just didn't do the upkeep, and he kind of made it his own. Lots of little knickknacks around the store, and then people say things about that. I took all of it down for many reasons, and one that nobody really thinks about is I can't just stand in this store every day and be in the presence of my father who's gone.
Yeah.
That aside, everything I did to me was about being professional as a business and cleanliness. It needs to be easy to clean. Anything sitting collects dust. I don't need 200 trinkets sitting around collecting dust that I now have to clean. So a lot of that. We repainted all the walls. We're redoing the floors, the ceilings. We're redoing coolers and eliminating a lot of waste. In my experience as a supervisor at my previous job in the car manufacturing world, you learn a lot about lean. And I'm just trying to really eliminate waste. And that could be a shelving unit. So people walk in, that shelves going, yeah, well, it was waste. Now I have that space and it's more appropriately used for other things and things like that. So upkeep, and things are breaking, and I'm getting to deal with a lot of that, things that my dad didn't plan on this happening to me. I'm not mad at him, but it's like the upkeep is a big one. But I'm happy. I'm proud of it because I get a lot of compliments. People go, man, it looks so different, looks so nice. And I'm like, well, thank you.
Improvement.
And the word I go for always is clean. And the health inspector who's come, man, this place is super clean. And I'm like, not that it wasn't, but when everything is shiny white like a freaking operating room, you're going to get them compliments. And that's what I'm going for that. Part of
Plus,
it,
that builds so much confidence for the consumer, too.
Oh, yeah.
When they can see how clean, especially if you're going after new consumers. If you got your old consumers, okay, cool. But the new guys, they're coming in, they're judging it.
Yes.
They say the number one thing people judge at a place is their bathroom.
Yep.
So, for a business.
Yes.
So if you go into the business, or they go into your bathroom of the business and it's dirty, they're going to be like, goodbye. I'm not interested.
I do not have public restrooms, but I did just remodel both of our restrooms from floor to ceiling. They are quite nice, I promise. Okay. New floors painted, new ceilings, everything.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's, part of the cleanliness, like you said.
And a rebrand. You see my hat there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was going to say. I was
got the new logo going on.
Yeah.
Trying to get it out there.
It looks real good.
Yeah, thank you.
I do like it.
We like it. Everybody wants them. I'm going to have shirts and hats at the store. Everybody wants them.
Of course.
Of course, I'll get you one. But
yeah.
People won't buy them. My buddy flew home from Florida today, my employee, and he wore his Gills hat down there, and people were coming up to him wanting hats and asking where the store is.
Yeah.
That's what you want. So
Yeah. I mean, and I like the offset, too, on the logo. I think
me too.
That was a smart move.
The lady that made him kept arguing with me and making it big and in the front. I'm like, no, I want it smaller over that left side, just kind of subtle, and I think it turned out looking great. Yeah.
I really like that. It's all about the little details that keep it going.
I appreciate that.
No, that's good. Well, let's talk about some struggles now. You had some successes, or some changes that you did with, making the, updates and whatnot. But yeah, what's going on as far as, well, actually, we won't talk about that yet. Where are we at? Hold on.
We're at 6. We can be at struggles.
Let's see. We're going to take this part out.
Well, I figured you say you could add it.
Yeah.
I'd say we're right at 6. Collaborating with Honey Creek to get the local stuff was my big achievement thing we were at.
Yeah.
And then
I talked about the milestones, so we're at 6.
And you made the notes of the stuff, so the next one would be 6.
Yep. So, okay, some challenges and whatnot. Okay. So yeah, let's get into some different challenges that your business has had recently. I know we just talked about some successes and some changes, but I know there's a lot going on with not just your business, but other businesses too.
Sure. I mean, everybody is living in this economy. Everybody's hurting. When you can get a 25-cent pack of ramen noodles, if that's it is what it is. You're not going to buy a $30 steak, but that hurts supply chain. That is a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, that long time period.
People freak out about pigs or cows and all the stuff because the internet told them to and all the stuff. And 18 months from birth till the latest could be harvested, supply chain is a huge thing. I've went years where I could not get a product, literally years. One time a building burned down. So yeah, that's out there, but now they can't smoke, the smoked meats I would have. And then I couldn't get that for almost a year because the building burned down. Nothing I could do about that. Supply chain's a big one. I work with the public. Yeah. And I love you, public, but I sell food and people can be picky and that's fine. And the internet tells people
there's a saying in business that business is easy if you didn't have to deal with people.
Yeah. It's all would just flow in for me. It'd be great. And people, and the big thing is someone will come, out in California, I'm from California, I want this. Well, I don't call it that here. Or on the internet, you saw something and they think stuff and I'm like, no, I don't. So dealing with that and trying to talk to people without making them feel stupid because they're incorrect and it's not their fault. The internet told them this, they don't know, and keeping them happy. So dealing with public's huge. Social media.
People get this, what I call internet education.
Yes.
And they think it's better than anything.
Yes. I call Dr. Google.
Yeah, and I remember when I was in school, we had to source stuff. And if we didn't source it, we considered it not real.
Yeah.
And we would get F's. Now it's whatever. You put it out there. It's real. It's happening.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just really interesting how people are so I saw it on the internet. It's like, yeah. I've seen a lot of weird stuff on the internet, bud.
Yeah. And you're the only person to ever ask me for that. So I can't order 900 of these for you.
Right.
Unless you want all 900, man.
Yeah. If you want to make a commitment, we can talk.
Heck yeah.
Do you know what that is? The internet teaches you about a commitment?
Yeah.
No, the internet teaches you other things.
Yes, it does.
Everything's disposable. But we won't go down that rabbit hole.
I had to stop myself. Right? I'm going to go different path.
Yes. That's for a different podcast.
A couple other things. Social media, while it is great, it can be bad. Just like I said, dealing with public, you make one customer unhappy, whatever that may be, and they say something and they share it with their 10,000 followers, and then you're guilty until 3 days later when they're on to the next thing and no one pays attention.
It's the old guilty until proven innocent switch we've seen here in society because of the internet.
100%, man.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
And I guess lastly would be the government, over-regulation. I'm not knocking. I appreciate that they do a lot of good, especially as food's concerned. You can't just let people be willy-nilly out there doing this stuff. But
people don't like their food being touched weird.
Yeah, but they go too far sometimes, and taxation, and it gets hard. They're getting in our way, and all I'm trying to do is feed people. It's like I just want to feed people and go home and live my life and not have to worry about.
It's the bad people screwing up for the good people.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But the good thing about also with you is, like I was saying about touching, it's really not many. It's not going through many people. It's pretty close to farm to house.
Well, Honey Creek, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I could talk a lot about that. I know that I will say that I don't think any of his animals spend more than maybe 15 minutes of their entire life in a trailer, which is awesome because that's where all the bad stuff happens.
Right.
The cow's last days when they're being driven and beside them in a trailer, well, they're getting sick. They're freaked out, and that's why they pump them full of stuff. Well, with the Honey Creek,
it's like drugs to keep them calm.
Yes,
kind of like what we do to the people. No, I'm joking.
Shh, that was me beforehand. Here, Shayne, calm down. I don't remember everywhere I was going with that, but even so, most any kind of meat is killed under USDA inspectors and almost immediately, and I mean immediately, packaged and either flash frozen or sent fresh as it will be, and then it comes into your house. So there aren't a lot of hands. The Honey Creek is minimal, but any product I have, it's not like I had it, sold it to this guy, sold it to that guy, sold it to that guy. It's going.
You're far, far, far away from being the guy that is selling it in the back of the truck frozen.
Yes. And I would not buy meat out of a truck, ever. I did it once in Texas. That guy didn't know who he was talking to. There's a funny story for you.
Yeah, tell us.
Okay, well, the steak truck pulls up to my house, and I live in Texas. I'm standing, what's up, man? My best friend lived across the street. He said, hey, man, you want to buy some steaks? I said, sure. Let me get my buddy. Hey, Tree, come over here. He's 7 feet tall. We called him Tree.
Yeah.
And this guy opens up his little freezer in the back, and he's just sitting there, I got these, and I got that, and he's telling me all this stuff. He says, I'll sell it to you for all this. And I said, okay. He said, what do you want? I said, well, I'll take everything you got for $100. And he said, what, man, you're crazy. I said, I grew up in a meat market, and you just lied to me about a whole lot of stuff. And I do know the number for a few different places in town that would shut you down.
Right.
So either you sell me everything in that freezer for $100, and it was junk. I wish I didn't eat it.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to tell people about you and what you're doing, and you probably will get in trouble because you're out here lying and ripping people off. And he sold me all these junk fillets and New Yorks and stuff, and I just like in eating them, like I said, it's like it melted.
Right.
It melted. It was supposed to be filet mignon, and I was like, I cooked them and I didn't even feed them. I was like,
And they taste like preservatives, because that's what it is. It's salt.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm not knocking everybody. I don't know. I don't order to send stuff to Dad on Father's Day, box meat stuff. I'm sure it's fine. But I think you would like my fresh product out of the case better than anything you're going to buy out of the back of a truck.
Yeah.
I had a guy come in and try to get me to sell him stuff so he could go sell it out of the back of his truck with my name. And I said, absolutely not. And he said, well, then you're going to have competition. And I looked at him, I said, no, I'm not.
Yeah, where are you going to get that meat?
No one's going to go buy it out of the trunk of your car, dude. And if you did that, I'm going to call the health department because you're going to get people sick.
Trunk guy, get out of here.
Yeah, I just laughed. He got so mad. I was like, what gave you that idea?
Oh, man. And then obviously the recent downfall of what happened, how you got into it, everything happened to you at once.
Yeah.
Here you are being an employee, and then all of a sudden, boom, a split second, life changed forever, and that's how you got here.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur. So, tell us about, that part. Now, we're not talking about the details, but like, it was a big change
I had a good job. I was happy with what I did. I mean, no one likes everything about their job, but I got up every day and went to work. I was moving up. I was doing good things. And actually, so my dad was murdered January 4th of 2023. That day, I had my year-end review. And it was so great. That's why I went to the store that day to tell my dad, hey, I might get promoted. I'm getting a raise. Like, all this good stuff is happening for me. And I've worked my butt off at this job. 3 hours later, he was murdered. But besides the fact that my dad was gone, with him being gone, I suddenly had that store. And it just was so, like, I couldn't even mourn my father because now I had a business. And I didn't sell used tires. I sell fresh meat.
Right.
I can't be closed for 2 weeks while I figure this out. And I had employees. I have families, and that's their income. And that's how
the feed.
I had a good job. I made good money. I was okay, but I have to worry about them. And many mornings, very sick to my stomach, go through stress and stuff like that. And it was rough because I'm at my job, trying to do my thing with my job, watching my store on the cameras and worrying to death about that 24/7. And I'd leave my job, and then I'd go to the store until it closed to be there. And everybody, no, it's okay. My employees, we're fine. We don't need you. But I just felt like I have to be here. Like it's me now. I have to. And I didn't necessarily, but I didn't know. And my dad got killed beginning of the year. Well, all your licenses are being renewed, all the taxes and all the stuff. And I didn't know
all the fun business
my
stuff.
dad's passwords. I didn't know the pins to have his self, all this. I mean, it was a whole ordeal. Luckily, local government knew my dad, knew what happened. They were very helpful for me, which is how we were able to stay open and keep going. But it was extremely stressful in that.
Oh, I can imagine.
You know, and all that. And I had a life. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. My very smart kids that play travel sports that consume a lot of my time that I don't want to miss. But I have a store that if no one else is going to do it, I have to get up every day and go do that. If it ain't me, who's it going to be?
Exactly.
So that changed. There's benefits.
And that is the epitome of, stepping up and being a man. It really is.
Because I could have closed the store.
Yeah.
I didn't have to keep it open. It certainly crossed my mind. Everybody was worried about that. Everybody comes, thank you for keeping it open. Thank you. I'm like, well, keep coming through that front door and I'll keep it open.
Yeah.
But I had a good life. My dad didn't want me to have that store. I made more money than my dad. I was doing better financially than my dad. There's benefits. I get it. Owning your own business, being your own boss. I love all that. But I also didn't want to let my dad's legacy just go away that way.
Yeah.
I didn't want, and that's why I don't like talking about to a degree. I don't want people to just think of my dad, think about the way he left. I want everybody to think about everything he did for 24 years, making the name that store has and being who he was in that community. And, my dad was larger in life, 6'7", 260-pound man, funny, awesome. People loved my dad, and I figured, one, I didn't just want him to be gone. And here's an opportunity for me, being the child of that. I've had 23 years to think about what I would do in that store.
Yeah.
And I've always been one, don't complain about a problem if you're not willing to be part of the solution. Well, now here's my chance to do all these things I've always wanted. So I'm going to do that and see how it works. The remodeling, the grass fed. I've changed our hours a little bit. I've stopped carrying some product. I'm going to start carrying other products because unlike my dad, bless his heart, he's not aware of what's going on in the world around him. I'm trying to look, okay, people are eating these things. People are doing this. People are doing that. I need to try to make sure I'm putting out what the customers want. And, all without an instruction manual.
Exactly.
Every mistake made, I've looked in the mirror and said, you did that.
Yeah.
Learn, and don't do that again.
That is the beauty of owning a business.
Yeah, most of the time.
Anyone, yes.
The occasional, oh crap.
This is, I think, the biggest thing people forget about entrepreneurship, and this is what's beautiful about it. It's anybody can come and play. Anyone is allowed to wake up and be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Come on in. I always say, come on in, the water's warm.
Yep.
But the truth of the nature is this. The reason it is that way is you will make mistakes. But that is a fact.
Absolutely.
Is it a mistake that's going to kill you?
Well, in my line, occasionally, yes.
Yeah.
But
well, you know what I'm saying? Like you can make all the mistakes in the world you want in business. They're just going to cost you money.
Yeah.
Really. That's what it comes down to. It's like, okay, let's try these hats.
Yeah.
Okay. That costs money.
Yep.
Failed. Okay, whatever. That wasted $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we do in business. We're trying things out. So anyone can do it.
Yep.
And you just have to be willing to accept the fact that you're going to fail sometimes, learn from those mistakes, don't repeat them, because if you keep repeating them, they're going to get you.
Yeah. And that like the employees, they all have been there a very long time. I have great employees. I would not be here without them. But they all say, well, we don't do this, we don't this, and we don't that. And I'm like, who's we? They said, well, your dad. And I look at him and said, my dad's gone. I'm going to do these things. I want to see if this works. And and sometimes they're like, oh, okay. It's just now they're having to embrace the fact that there's new mind in charge and trying to do things. And with, they're great. I need their help, their experience. They've worked there. Dennis has worked for me for 18 years. As soon as I joined the Army, my dad hired this guy. He's been there that long. He has wisdom.
Of course.
About stuff. And
you want to tap into that wisdom sometimes.
I went to go try and like, hey, we've done this. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, well, you were in the Army. We did this, tried this.
That's information I need to know.
Thank you for telling me. I didn't want to fail that the hard way. But
right, that's what I'm saying. It's like anyone can get into it.
Oh, yeah.
You will fail, and it's your job to learn from that failure.
And it's also, every day, I don't have to get up and go do that. I could just stay in bed and say, screw it.
Yeah.
But I can't do that. I have that option, but every day I get up and I'm closed Sunday, Monday. I'm at my store on Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
It may only be for a few hours.
Of course.
It may only be for 10 minutes, just checking something. But I'm there every single day of my life.
That's what I always tell people. I'm working all the time, every day. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I work every day.
Yeah.
It just blends in.
I'm just sitting at the baseball field watching my kid answering emails about my store, or my wife's sitting on the couch next to me at 9 o'clock at night. We're watching a movie, and someone's messaging her the Facebook account. Hey, can you this? So, yeah, it's 9:30 at night, but let's make some sales.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely relate, and that's all about being an entrepreneur, my friend. It's an interesting life, and the dreams. That's what I was saying before. The dreams are crazy. You start dreaming.
Yes.
In about your business and things you're doing or you didn't do or you oh
wake
my
up,
goodness.
oh, did I do that? Did I turn this on? Did I turn this off?
Oh yeah, it's
24 hours a day.
It's wild how it happens. Well, let's talk about some other ways you've collaborated with local businesses in your area. What are some things that you're doing with them? I know that you got food trucks.
Food trucks, I'd say. My dad always worked food trucks, and again, to churches and things like that. A lot of food trucks come to us to try and get a start. I've sold people equipment, certainly sold them meat, deli meats, things like that. I always try to help them out. Hey, get started. And I always work, if you keep coming to me, I'll keep being better to you. But I'm going to make sure this relationship is going to be a thing. Some local schools, there's some private schools in the area, and that get stuff from me. And like, your kid went to school, he might not eat Gills at your house, but he ate Gills at school today because they buy their meat from me. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I mention everybody. And some restaurants. I've really tried to get into restaurants, and my wife, knowing people, has helped me with that a lot. And just getting my product and having it at Honey Creek too, because a lot of restaurants want Honey Creek. Well, now I'm their source for Honey Creek. So that's getting me into the restaurants. And I'm sure the food will taste good. I just want to tell the person, hey, that was a great steak. Yeah, well, we got it here in town at Gills.
Of course.
So go there. So that'll be good for us. And then always just like the public help stuff, as we talked, the disaster relief, things like that. Not that I'm out there, hey, look at me as I help people, but I do feel better 2 weeks later when that family comes and say, hey, when this happened, we got your gift certificate, or, that makes me feel better that I was able to help you at some point in that way, because when that happened to my dad, the outreach from the community was unreal and unbelievable. And I'm not on any social media, so I was shielded from a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think people thought they were doing that for me as a favor to me, but I was also told of the overwhelming amount of support that people poured on my family and my employees and my business. So it is no sweat off my back to give that back to the people that gave to me. And I want people to, hey, we're in a bad spot. I ain't going to pay your mortgage, but I might make sure you ain't hungry today.
Yeah, I mean, you can give them the gift of a meal, which is awesome.
So, and collaborating, and not that that's collaborating, but that people know that. The food trucks, the restaurants, the schools, just about anybody. I mean, food trucks are huge because they're all over the place too. Food truck in Springfield today might be in Dayton tomorrow and in Circleville. So my name's traveling around the Miami Valley.
Traveling around,
so
that's right.
That's a lot good. And I'm, hey, that's an entrepreneur.
That is.
Got up to go do it. So good luck.
Yeah.
How can I help you on your dream? Go do it.
That's what it's all about, helping other people in all aspects.
And
not
I always tried to frequent anyone that sells my product. Like if there's a restaurant or a food truck, like, oh, where are you going to be tonight? And I'll come have a meal, and let them know I support you as you support me.
Yeah, it's a full circle.
Absolutely.
So some exciting things that's coming up, some projects, initiatives that you've got going on. I know you got some personal growth, you said, or growing yourself and, with your employees as well.
Yeah. I didn't seek out being the businessman that I am now, so I have lots to learn. A big thing for me is networking. I'm not a super publicly social person. Like I have no social media, but there's a lot to do in just knowing people and people seeing me and knowing who I am, and to do that. So I know I'd like to get involved in like the local Rotary, go to some events that are going on. I'm picking up the Springfield little book of all the events that they're doing and try to be known in the community myself. I have to build up my name. Everybody knew Tom Gill. Mm-hmm. Now they got to learn who Shayne Gill is and Gills Meat Market and do that. So I want to grow myself a lot there, a lot to learn with the legalities. I had no idea all the stuff my dad did in the back office while I was just out waiting on customers, making sure that the government's happy and keeping the money right. I don't get my
cash flow's fun.
Oh my gosh. And just lots to learn there. And I want to be the best I can. I have employees. I want to pay them enough money that they sleep well every night, but I got to build a business to that, and that's on me. So I've got to grow and do the right things and make sure that getting Honey Creek beef in there is good for my business and is great for my business, Adam. That it isn't bad, and it's not. Mm-hmm. So, and doing things like that, networking like this to me, coming and doing this podcast, when you reach out to me to this, I almost chickened out. But I got to do things like this for myself and my business. And maybe it'll encourage other people like me that are probably kind of introverted and scared. You know what? Go out and meet some people. You'd be surprised.
It really does. It does do a push for that, because a lot of people are kind of in that. A lot of people get stuck in, I guess you could say, in their head, where it's like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should we, do it? As a business owner, I've always learned, just do it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what comes into it. I mean, there's been situations I'm like, I don't want to go to this networking thing, and the next thing you know, it's like, holy crud, I met this person that is now going to be doing business with me, and they're, I remember I went to this networking event. I was like, I really don't want to get up and do it. It's like 6 a.m, terrible. So I did. Next thing you know, I mean, fast forward to 13 years later, I mean, I've got over $300,000 worth of sales with them. They, the rehab facility. So I provide mattresses for a rehab facility in Dayton. It's wild how you never know who you're going to run into.
That's awesome.
Or who you're going to meet that's going to do something.
The Honey
for
Creek,
you.
my wife was waiting tables at an upscale restaurant that she worked at, and he sold some stuff to him with a customer. Like, he's in my business because him and my wife just happened to know each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know of Honey Creek beef. I mean, I would have found out as I started to look for this, but as soon as I said it,
shortcut.
my wife's like, hey, this guy. And everybody around here knows him that is into that, and it's local. And I was like,
it seems like that guy was doing footwork, going from restaurant to restaurant, trying to figure out his game plan.
Yep.
How can I get in? And then it's like, wait, you guys meet, and now you got that connection. It's like, let me get it in. You just get it to me. You do your job, which is raising the cow, making it good, getting it to me. I'll get it where it needs to go.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of business.
Yeah. It's a long game, because 18 months, but we're figuring out. I mean,
18 months, maybe.
3 months of us being together. It seems great. I mean, I really look forward to that.
It's always exciting.
And that's network, because so many people know who he is. So and he pushes my name out, which I'm super great. That's great for me.
That is the form of word of mouth of marketing that you pays dividends.
Any
it's
local
unreal.
person that carries product in my store, we are all like, there's a guy named Foodie Bob Merchant. He sells these mustards, and I actually have a pork shoulder on the smoker at my house right now, slathered in this mustard. It's delicious, and he shares my stuff on Facebook. I share his. Adam with Honey Creek does the same thing, and it's helped our business a lot. I got 9,000 followers, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of people seeing when I advertise for them. And then they come, oh, you got Foodie Bob's mustard? Yep. And then he comes in, because he shops in my store too. That's something else I love. Like, not only do you sell your product in my store, you're a customer of mine for other things as well. So
it goes back and forth, and that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Well, how do you tell the listeners? How do you tell the supporters to get involved? What can we do here? What can you tell them?
Shop local. Shop local. Support the families that are trying to provide a service to their neighbors. Spread the word about your experience with local businesses and encourage to shop there as well. I mean, the money you spend at Walmart doesn't stay in your community, but your kid plays on the local ball team, and my name's on the shirt because I sponsored it. I have 3 employees. 3 of the 4 people that work there, 3 not including myself, all have school-age children. Everything we're doing, I'm trying to raise kids. I'm just a dad and a husband, trying to be a person in the world, live my life. I just happen to own this meat market. That's my means to doing it. But you coming in there and supporting me is going to help me get through that. And I'm going to do my best to give the best I can to my community that is supporting me. I don't feel anyone's obligated to walk through my doors and buy my product. I have to earn that. So I want to make sure you understand that I'm doing my best for you. I just want you to come back and tell everybody you know that you got that at Gills Meat Market. This is the best you've ever had, ever. 3 times. Say it 3 times. And send them my way. Because local businesses are going away.
It's true.
And then when we are gone, you are left with whatever the big guys will provide
that is
and
true.
They can control everything.
There's I was reading and learning about there's 5 stages of a customer, and the first one's just doing whatever, getting to know you. But the goal is it tells you how to get the customer turning to a 1 to a 5, and ultimately a number 5 customer is what they call a cheerleader. They basically will be a walking, talking advertisement for you.
Yes.
Not every customer is that way. I get that. No. But our goal as business owners is how we turn every customer into that.
I have some 5s. I love that.
Yeah, I love those 5s too. But it's just interesting that you mentioned that because it just sparked an interest. I was like, I know what you're talking about because we all have them. We all want more. Yep. How do we get more 5s?
That Facebook the good that customers have put out on Facebook from that publicity is the best thing that's happened to our business.
Yeah.
I mean, just for instance, I sell school pizzas. Please don't flood my store tomorrow. I sell school pizzas. I've sold them for a decade plus. Somebody bought some, put it on Facebook. Hey, I got these school pizzas at Gills, and they're delicious, and put a picture of them. The next day, I almost had to close my store. Like,
Too many
I'm out. People are getting mad at me for not having them. It's just madness. And I'm like, but that was just someone just saying, hey, I got this.
Yeah.
I've had it for years, but I can't. Now I'm ordering 10 cases of every one of them a week. And just the sales of that went up. And that's just one little post from someone whose name I don't even know.
Yeah.
But thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
Shoot, hey, come. I'll give you some pizzas next time you come and tell me you're that person.
Yeah.
But that was just a customer. I don't think they knew, or maybe I don't know their intentions. I don't know if it was to do what they did for me, which was great. But word of mouth is great, and local people talking about local stuff is the best sales advertisement I
mean, that's what it's all about. It really is. So yeah, they can find you on Facebook. Basically, is what you're saying. Check them out.
Yeah, that's my
Gills Meat Market on Facebook.
Yep. I do gotta say, there's a Gills quality meat market out there from years past that we are locked out of, cannot get into. Facebook will not help us delete it.
Oh man!
So go to Gills Meat Market, and on there you can ask questions. My wife or I will answer them as soon as we can, to the best of our ability. And there's a link to a website we have. We don't do a lot on a website, but it's a source of information. Like I do sell some freezer boxes and stuff where the information for that's on there that you can reference and reach out to us. I don't like to do orders without actually talking to someone myself, because like we talked about earlier, you called it this, I call it that. I can't afford to mess up your order with fresh meat and things like that. I can't recut it or anything like that. So if you do want to reach out, please call the store during our hours or come in for those kind of
What's
orders.
the phone number? Tell it to us.
937-322-8478. That's Gills Meat Market.
All right, good. And that's in Springfield, Ohio.
Springfield. Just a couple miles off 70. It ain't as far as you think.
Yeah. I've been there. It's a great little place. Nothing like crazy. You're not going to get lost in it, but they got everything that you possibly need. And it's where I go if I need any event. In fact, I haven't even talked to Shayne about this yet, but I'm doing Free Franks with Frank in July, and I am going to be getting the burgers from you.
Okay,
so we'll talk about that after the show.
Sure.
But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to discuss or talk about here at the end? I know we're finishing up.
Some guy was foolish enough to give me a platform, so this deviates a little bit from our conversation, but I would like to say this because I am who I am. Put down your cell phones. See the people that are in the room with you and know them. Know the people around you. Like, there's so much happening right here. You're worried about everybody's opinion who does not care if you wake up in the morning and show up where you're supposed to be. Put the phones down, folks. There's a lot. I am not on social media at all. I don't have games on my phone. My phone's in another part of the room right now, and I don't care.
Yeah.
And I go somewhere, and this is what me sitting somewhere and looking at everyone else. That's like this. Like, are you on your first date? What does that person look like? You're texting your buddy. And be kind. Be kind. My dad was taken. My last experience with my father, luckily, was great. It didn't have to be. I've left there fighting with my dad many times. I'm glad that wasn't the case. Be kind to people. You have no idea what that person's going through that day, and that person might turn around and save you the next day in whatever way. It could just be, oh, here's a bottle of water. You look thirsty, not knowing you were about to die of dehydration.
Yeah.
And they were thirsty too, but they just wanted to be kind. You look thirsty. A little kindness goes such a long way in this world that is just. It's awful. I mean, there's so much hate and unreasonableness going on, and it's all from this thing that everybody's holding their face, telling them what to say, telling them what to think. If you put that down and start talking to the people that are around you, you might realize, hey, we do get along. I do like you, and you do seem to care. And you know what? Maybe we should hang out and figure something out. And next thing you know, you're two new entrepreneurs starting a business together.
Right.
You never would have did if you hadn't put down the phone and realized that person across from the room, right there, you could be friends with and talk to. So I just hope that people could become more personable and know each other and care more about the people that are around you and not the 10,000 people that follow you that you'll never actually know in life.
Because and they'll never know you.
They'll never know you.
Yeah.
You as long as you keep them interested, they'll keep looking. Who's going to call you when they don't hear from you for a couple of days? That's that person that, who checks on you. It ain't the 10,000 followers. It's that person you took the time to put the phone down and know that's going to check on you and be personal. Because that's what I do in my store. The experience is going to bring you back. You're going to like my meat. You're going to like my prices. It's the experience you had while you were in there. And that's because I'm not texting you. I'm not talking, ignoring you. I'm looking you in the eyes. I'm smiling. I'm asking you questions and answering yours and being personable. And the whole world needs a lot more of that.
Yeah. No, I mean, those are great words of wisdom to end out on. I love everything you said there. And it's so true. It's very true. It's a good, friendly reminder.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of great people in the world that you can get to know if you just get to know them.
Yeah, it's so true. It really is.
I didn't meet Frank on our phones. I met Frank in person.
It's true.
I didn't have your phone number for years of knowing you. It was just like, when you called, I was like, oh, Frank O'Neill's calling me. Hey.
Yeah, and those are the people where it's like, I don't need to have that phone number.
Yeah.
We knew because we met, and when we met, we knew. Mm-hmm. It was that simple. And I get that. Some relationships, you're going to have to build it and it gets there. But, luckily with our relationship, it was never really a question in doubt of like, do I get along with this guy? Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. You meet people.
But we had to do that in person, and we had to match our energies and see how it worked out. And it's amazing how that is.
Yep.
So, well, Shayne, I appreciate you being here. I'm excited for Gills Meat Market. I'm excited with the new expansion of what you got going on with the meat, with the locally sourced meat. I forget, what was the name of it again?
My beef is from Honey Creek Beef out of New Carlisle.
Yeah, so Honey Creek Beef, I mean, that's amazing. And, just seeing all the expanding and growth that you got going on right now, which is phenomenal.
Hope it keeps coming.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thanks for being out.
No, thank you, man.
On the show, and until next time.
All right, Frank. Thanks, man.
Oh, you're welcome.
Subscribe and follow to our Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to sign up for our email list and receive an email to watch the show. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Do you know a great Dayton business that you would like to see on the show? Visit our website at DaytonApproved.com and click on the Contact tab and tell us who you'd like to see.